Hey everybody, it's Professor Snark here checking in with me on camera instead of our class, although I'm going to be looking at a bit of our class here too. I'm not feeling 100% and I don't think I sound very good, but at least for those of you that I don't know yet, you get a bit of a chance to see me instead of just scrolling through stuff on our class. So I'm recording this on Thursday, which puts us right kind of in the midway point for our group project. So again in Unit 5, and I'm just going to get myself in there, we had mostly kind of a setup and connecting with your group, early brainstorming opportunities, so we'll see the assignment itself in there, but also the planning sheet where each group or set of partners had sort of an area to work in, a few questions to prompt, write some initial brainstorming, get some ideas going. I'm seeing most people in here having some ideas, but it's really sort of time to like settle on a topic, an approach, like a platform to use, whether it's slides or sites or maybe something a little more creative, which I'm encouraging people to do. And so again, if you haven't even gotten in here to connect with your group, then you're kind of behind, and we definitely want to complete that before the due date for this unit, which is today, Thursday the 21st. And again, if people provided phone numbers or email addresses or whatever, make sure that you're following up and not just like waiting to be told or for someone to contact you. So again, make sure you're getting the ball rolling. The other thing that I wanted each group to do was if you were doing something that's linkable, like a slide deck, a sites, maybe other stuff too, is to put the link in here so that I and actually other people have access to it, even though we know that it's not complete yet. So make sure that you get that in there. Or maybe make a little note that like we're doing a video so there's nothing to link to yet, or just something so that I know that each of the groups is kind of making some progress here. So some of the groups look really good, others I'm a little kind of nervous about, but again, we have Thursday today to make sure everyone is on the same page, almost literally on the same page in this document. And that's pretty much all there is for this unit, but we just transition right into the next one, Unit 6. So that's where you want to finish up the project, do all the building and the getting together face-to-face if you want to do that, or working virtually, or some combination of both. The final projects will be due on Thursday, so that'll be next Thursday, obviously. To complete the projects then, or to sort of wrap up this assignment, each person is going to go back to their individual portfolio page and build out like a Unit 6 project reflection. You're going to embed or link to or somehow provide whatever the project is. So that might have its own slide deck or its own website or its own whatever, but each person is going to link to it from their individual portfolio page. And then per the assignment here, you're going to write a little individual reflection. So this isn't a group project, but you are reflecting on the group project itself. And again, we're building out our portfolio, sort of collecting all the stuff as we go. Also, as I get links to projects, I will start to post them in Unit 6 here. And again, I might post them before they're even finished, so don't jump in too early, but at least you can see them as they start to unfold. Because we do have a quick discussion board set up where we do have like a reply component built in. So I'll provide links to projects as I get access to them in Unit 6 here, so you can visit a few of them or all of them, since there's really not that many, and then reply to at least 2 using the discussion board here. Okay, so hopefully pretty clear. Again, the assignment itself is fairly traditional in some ways. It's just the wrinkle of maybe people doing this in the online setting that you haven't done before. Okay, 2 quick things then about grading, and sort of like now that we have a few grades under our belt, it's useful to think about this. The main thing is to always keep in mind, no matter what we're doing, that the whole course is out of 1,000 points. And so the difference, let's say an assignment in a unit is worth 25, or let's say 50 points. I don't tend to like nickel and dime between like what's a 42 out of 50 versus a 43 out of 50. I don't know. It's 1 point, not out of 50, but out of 1,000. Like I can't cut it that fine. Which means that sometimes if you do above and beyond pretty good work here, maybe you get 45. And I know that a lot of students, and I know this because I was exactly the same way, and we work in a system that's very grade-based, if you see that number, like a number out of 45, let's say, our minds kind of do the arithmetic, and it's like, oh, I got this percent, and oh, that's this letter grade, which is sort of mathematically true, but it's really not in the context of our whole course. So if you get like a 40 out of 50, you've probably done the basic requirements, but maybe it seems a little rushed, it's not really fleshed out, there's just kind of pieces missing. Maybe you get a 35 out of 50. Again, same thing, it's just not really, it's not the depth that we're looking for. But don't all of a sudden think, oh my God, a low B, an 80% or a 70% or whatever. Again, mathematically it's kind of that. But just think in that bigger picture of 1,000 points. So the difference between a 40 and a 45 isn't really an A and a B on a particular project. It's like 5 points out of a whole 1,000 for the course. So maybe you're not getting 45 out of 50 every single time, but in the long haul, because we do so many sort of smaller point assignments, if there's a couple of like 40 out of 50 in there, clearly not ideal because it means you're not maybe spending enough time on the assignments, but it's not going to kill you, right? So try to keep the grading in that bigger perspective of a whole 1,000 points. And like I said, I don't tend to differentiate. I'm going to go by fives basically in like, especially a 50 point, almost in any point thing. So 50 out of 50 would be just like over the top, really great, going the extra mile. 45 out of 50, again, everything's in place, really good. That's not just like baseline, you did the requirements, that's like really good. 40, maybe not so much, 35, and then once we're down lower than that, then we have a bit of an issue. Maybe misunderstood assignment or missed replies, for example, something like that. But again, keep the bigger picture in mind, and I'm not going to debate like, oh, it shouldn't be a 40, it should be a 42. Really? 2 points out of 1,000? Come on, I can't do that. So again, big picture. The other thing to keep in mind, especially as we're getting into these more creative and what we would call multimodal projects, where it's not just text-based, it's not just a more traditional essay. You're using images, you might be creating video, you might be doing other stuff. Just because we are not doing only text doesn't mean that a finished project, like it's almost like a picture is not going to be worth 1,000 words. So instead of writing a 3,000 word essay, you just posted 3 pictures. That's not 3,000 words. So we still need to have sort of depth of analysis, threading ideas together, kind of fully fleshed out responses to things, even if it's not completely text-based, which means that in some cases maybe you need actually more text than you realized, or it needs to be more strategic text. So again, it's not shaped like a big long essay with all the usual parts that we're looking for, but we still have a clear articulation of an idea, lots of examples, maybe like quotations from one of the stories, one of the works that we're reading, lots of really explicit arguments that connect the ideas or connect the examples to the general topics we're interested, or the thesis that we're trying to argue. So again, we're not writing essays, but it's not like it's just, oh, here's my 3 pictures, and that's basically 3,000 words. So do keep in mind that we're still looking for that depth of analysis and thought and organization, even though we're not necessarily doing it in the most traditional format. So a couple of kind of like assignment and grading ideas to keep in mind. Okay, so back to Unit 5/6 here, our final short fiction project, working in our groups. Make sure you connect with folks as part of Unit 5, and then again, keep that ball rolling into Unit 6 so you're actively working on the project. I want to remind people that I'm looking for finished products that really feel like a holistic effort, not we connected once, divided the thing into halves or thirds, depending on how many people you've got, and everyone did their little piece. And if I'm working with my partner, I have like no idea what they've done. If we were presenting in class and the teacher asked me a question about somebody else's slide, there really shouldn't even be that. But if I can't speak knowledgeably to the project as a whole, that's a bit of a problem. We don't present so that situation won't give you away, but it is still pretty obvious at the end of the day when you're looking at a finished project, if there's really not a lot of talking back and forth between the slides, between the pieces of what's happened. And again, there can be some visual cues, like fonts are different or information's repeated, or sometimes slides will even contradict each other. That's the worst case scenario. But anyway, be really conscious of developing this as a group, a holistic project. Okay, so that's it for me, and I will talk with everybody soon.